It's been 2 months since the conflict widely known as the Apocalypse. I am Tye Sampson, Lord Executive of the Provisional Government, and this is the State of Hellifyno on October 5th, 2011. Following the renewal, Hellifyno enjoyed an influx of settlers due to the fact that it was left in a largely pristine and empty state. It is estimated that the population of the planet grew to as many as 20 million sentient creatures. Unfortunately, the recent war with the Priors halted immigration and largely decimated the population. Nearly 500,000 citizens of Hellifyno fell in the conflict, with millions more wounded. Now that peace has been achieved with the Priors, immigration has resumed, but it is at an understandably much slower rate. The one piece of luck that we have had in all of this is that the Prior army was not a architecturally destructive force. They left most of our buildings and our infrastructure intact. In fact, once they had captured the capital city of consequence, they actually began finishing some of the work projects that we ourselves had begun. It's ironic, but the capital city is actually in a better state today than it was when the war began. Politically, Hellifyno is currently being run by a military provisional government, with supreme power resting temporarily in the hands of a Lord Executive, a position which I currently hold. However, free and open elections are planned for early next month, and though I do plan on running for the seat of Lord Executive, there are several other notable names which have already been mentioned as potential competition for me, including people such as Daniel Plainview and Augustus Giovanni. It'll be very interesting to see what the people of Hellifyno end up deciding. On a local level, there are towns, cities, and even kingdoms which are starting to spring up across the planet. The most notable of these is probably Gaia-Dor, a kingdom that is being led by Titus Silverhide. But there are settlements that are being created by vampires, Garu, elves, dwarves, imps, orcs. There's even a dragon kingdom that is being started by one Dimar Nobu. Economically, the planet of Hellifyno is in pretty rough shape. At the moment, it is a mostly agrarian society with individual territories, trading just for basic building material, necessities of survival. We do have some promising manufacturing facilities that are starting to spring up across the planet. These are largely specializing in supernatural and magical items, artifacts, weapons, spells, largely the kind of thing that Hellifyno excelled in before the beginning of the Three Wars. The problem is that we don't have a means of actually trading with other planets in the galaxy. We have a very small fleet at the moment, and it's not enough to really establish steady trade lines with any other planetary system. There are portal mages that are working on establishing permanent lines of trade, but it's very, very slow going at the moment. Militarily, Hellifyno had a small army to begin with, and the prior conflict took a heavy toll on it. We currently have about 20,000 soldiers that we can call into active duty in the case of an emergency. The problem is that these are not full-time soldiers. These are people that survived the apocalyptic conflict. These are people that survived the prior war. But they're also farmers, tradesmen, have day-to-day jobs. The permanent day-to-day army that the provisional government of Hellifyno can call upon at this moment is a little bit less than actually 3,000 soldiers. It is also important to note that recently we have been receiving reports of strange creatures, dangerous monster-like, dangerous beings appearing in the countryside of Hellifyno. Since the withdrawal of the prior army, we've gotten reports of people being attacked, of villages being raided by ice wolves, by large fire beasts, and other creatures of the sort. We don't have any proof about what the source of these attacks are, but the provisional government is monitoring and will respond accordingly. The last thing that I would like to say is that despite these setbacks, despite war, despite the apocalypse itself, the spirit of the people of Hellifyno remains strong. Those who have survived feel a sense of accomplishment, and they seem willing to continue to fight, to struggle, and to do whatever it takes to build their lives here. As such, I believe that the current state of this planet is one of tentative hope.